Ever read something on your phone that puts you into such a fit of rage? You black out for a few seconds, and when you come to, suddenly the screen on your phone is cracked. This is what happened to me yesterday after I read the latest standee from NASCAR President Steve Phelps. According to Steve, NASCAR is not interested in bringing more horsepower back to the Cup Series in order to cut costs, which is fine. That's understandable. He also said that they're looking at ways, any way possible to cut costs for NASCAR teams because they are losing so much money. So I could completely understand that. But that is not what I am most upset about. He goes on to say, I don't think the answer is more horsepower because more horsepower is expensive. If you ask a driver what's going to solve it, they're always going to say, give me more horsepower. It's a thing. I'm not a driver, but I've listened to enough drivers, and that's their solution. So the question is that really what it is? I don't know. I think there's some gearing things that we're looking at as well, some shifting things. That's like being a parent to a gold medal gymnast and telling them, no, you're riding that pommel horse all wrong. Let me show you how it's done. I have been a fan of this sport for about 15 years now, and in that time, it has never seemed like the heads of NASCAR have ever really been on the same page as the drivers. They'll say they're listening, but how many of the suggestions actually ever come to fruition? It's like NASCAR lives in their own little bubble, and they believe every decision that they make is the correct one. That led us to the chase format, that led us to the playoff format, that led us to the next-gen car, which was an absolute abysmal mess the first year out with driver injuries. But they wanted to rush it out, even though so many drivers had reservations about the car's safety. And this effectively ended the career of Kurt Busch after he was involved in an incident that left him with a head injury, which those were the types of injuries that the next gen was most notable for causing in its first year. These are professional race car drivers. It is what they do for a living. Wouldn't you think that NASCAR, they have this wealth of knowledge in the field, that they would key in a little bit deeper than they do and maybe hear them out when they're calling for more horsepower? Maybe there's something to that, but they never want to hear it from anyone else. They always have all of the answers. It's apparent. It's evident. Every single decision that they make, it's not with the input of others. It's whatever they drum up. Look at Formula One. I know that series has so many issues that they have to deal with, especially after what we saw at that Las Vegas Grand Prix. But when they were purchased by Liberty Media brought all this outside think into the series, brought in fresh ideas, stuff that the series hadn't thought of before, ways of marketing, how just the development of the cars, so many ideas. And it boosted the popularity. Worldwide, the series grew. So many more people were talking about Formula One. Not NASCAR. God forbid they'd ever bring in other people's thoughts into what they're going to do with the series going forward. They're their own worst enemy, and they're going to continue to be until they look at themselves in the mirror and realize that they don't always have all of the answers. That it's okay to hear other perspectives and maybe, just maybe, take things in that direction. Listen to the people that are going out there and putting themselves in harm's way every single week for your product. Maybe actually hear what they have to say. Maybe they've got some ideas about what direction to take with the car. I would trust them before I would trust the executives that are running the sport. Maybe it's not bringing as much horsepower back as they would like. But we've seen the short track racing, we've seen the road course racing, and how there's no passing at all, and how much slower the cars are. There has to be something there. There has to be some sort of compromise.